Good day. In this lesson you're going to learn about PHP basics. So things like variables, data types, conditionals, and loops. So I'll be using PHP shell, which you can download from here. Okay. So with PHP you can actually perform arithmetic operations. So here we're using the echo function, which simply outputs the result of this statement. In PHP we also have several data types, such as the string data type, this is an example of a string. You can also have it this way. So if you wrap a text inside double quotes or single quotes, it's considered as a string. Next we also have integers, which serve as whole numbers. Then we have floats. Then boolean, which can only have two values, true or false. Then we have arrays. In PHP you can define arrays by using the array keyword, and then anything inside the parentheses are considered the array items. Each item can be separated with commas, and you can also have mixed data types or another array. In PHP you also have to end each statement with the semicolon, just like what you're doing in JavaScript. Next we also have a object data type, which can be defined by using the new keyword and then the object. Okay, so we got a fatal error because the class object is not found. We first have to define a class in order to create a new object out of it. So you say class, then space, then the name of the class. So let's say animal, and then open it up with curly brace. Let's see if it's working now. Okay, so that's how you would define a class. And then lastly, we have the null object, which is a variable which has no value. So this means it hasn't been assigned a value to it. So in PHP you can define variables by using the $sign, then the name of the variable, then to assign value to it you have to use the equal sign, and then any data type that you want. So here we're using a string data type. Let's try to output it. Okay, so let's say we have var2. It says here that the variable var2 is undefined, so it means it has a null as the data type. So you can check whether a variable is undefined by using the condition. So to write conditions in PHP, you use the if keyword and then open and close parentheses, then inside it is the condition. So here we use the isNull function to check whether var2 is a null. Okay, so we still get this PHP notice, but after that we get this. So this means that var2 hasn't been defined yet, so it has a data type of null. Okay, so let's continue this. And here, demos, and let's create a new PHP file. Always open up with the opening PHP tag and the closing. Let's try to create an else if statement. So we say if, then open and close, then we use the getType function to check whether the data type of this variable here is a string. Okay, so if the data type is a string, it will echo out yup, and if it is not, then nope. So I think this is capital letter. Let's try it from the browser. So we have the www directory, and then Lorma, demos, online tech, d5, and then test.php. So this www here is the root directory, so we don't need to enter it. So we just say localhost Lorma demos 5, and then test. Okay, so it's saying nope. So let's also try to check what it's actually getting, since we are expecting it to echo out yep. Okay, so it's just a string. Okay, so now it's working correctly. Here we can also have another condition. Then we have to close this first, ideally in here. Then we have to type in here the other condition. So here we check whether the type is integer. Yep, integer. Then also change the one in here. So let's try to put an integer value. So it should echo out yep, integer. Okay. Next we have switch. So in PHP, if you want the text to be in a new line, you have to use BR. So remember, in HTML, BR is used to break the line. In here you can also use HTML tags. So then let's say I'm in new line. So these characters in here should be in bold. Okay. If you don't want to do it this way, you can also have it this way. So you have to close the PHP tag first, then open it again, then between it you can write HTML code. Then inside, since you have to echo it out again, open the PHP tag, close it, then echo out yep, integer, then semicolon. Let's see. Okay, so it's showing the same output. Now let's go back to the switch statement. So to use the switch statement, use the switch keyword. Then followed by open and close parentheses. Then inside these two curly braces is the conditions. So in here we have to check whether the type of the variable and then each case here should represent the conditions that we've placed in here. So first we check for string, and then we check for integer. Then for anything else we just output nope. So first case, and then string, then a colon, then inside this is this code. Then break. Next we check for integer. Case, integer, colon, then let's just use PHP for this. Yep, integer, and then break. Then for any other data type we just use this. So when using switch you have to use default. So this code here will get executed whenever the conditions in here doesn't match what is the result of this code. So in here you don't have to place the break because there's no longer any condition that follows after this. So the default condition should always be the last one. Let's try. Okay, so we have to add another BR here. So it's now saying, yep, integer. So let's try to make this into a string. Okay, so it's working. But what if we remove the break here? So in PHP, instead of removing it this way, when you're editing your code, you can just comment it out. So to use comments in PHP, use the double /. So this is a single line comment. You can also have a multi-line by using /, then asterisk, then a new line, then you close it with asterisk, and then /. Okay, let's try. Oops. Now it's executing this code as well. So that's what the break does. It prevents the other cases to be executed. Okay, next is the loops. Okay, let's end this lesson here, and we'll just do another video on loops since it's already getting longer.